either way.
Woo-hoo!
I got a bunch of different nationalities within me. I'm French, Italian, Armenian, Irish, Native American, and that's what I know of. I could have more.
Wow, amazing. So before we go into anything else, I met Kevin in Clubhouse basically, and he was telling a story, and it really interested me to learn more about his experience. So I contacted him. And so before you tell us anything else, will you please just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, and a little bit about your upbringing and your schooling or something?
Sure, definitely. So I was raised by a single mother. She had me at 16 years old, and since this is
Oh,
kind of since we met on a uh, interesting clubhouse room, I think it's worth mentioning this. She told me this later on in life, that when she was pregnant with me, there was a UFO above the car, and that
oh,
everybody in the family saw it. And so that piqued my interest when I had other interesting encounters or paranormal experiences, whatever you may want to call them, throughout my life, and continue to do so. So I think that was interesting to touch on that point. Besides that, I'm raised by a single mother, no father figure. So when I got out of high school, I had really no direction. I fell into a lot of bad habits. Let's just put it that way. And then
fair
I
enough.
was able to finally turn my life around, get on the right track. Now I'm rebounding, and my mind has been totally freed from fear and doubt and failure. It's so crazy to say this, but it's the truth. I feel more wealthier than some of the richest people on the planet, because I don't have fear within me anymore. I don't have, the anxiety constantly, the depression, that plagues some very wealthy people. They might have a lot of financial wealth, but mentally speaking, they're not very wealthy.
Right,
And
right.
so in regards to that, I feel so free now because I've been able to position myself to start mastering my own mind, which is something I recommend all your viewers or anybody in general. Once you
Uh,
master your mind, you can achieve anything. And so I don't want to cut you off. So what was your question?
no, no, it's okay. Thank you for sharing that. So let's go backwards a little bit. You mentioned your mom and this experience that she had. Did she tell you more about it?
No, not really. She's so anything that's different or out of the ordinary, she's scared of. So she does not like to talk
So
about
that's all you
anything.
know.
That's all I know from that is
Okay.
that happened. Yes.
So then let's go to your very first paranormal experience that you had and how it was for you and what you experienced.
I don't know if you're ready for this one, because it seems unbelievable to some people. And I had this same conversation on a podcast with another gentleman who is a Christian. And so when you're dealing with people that have, really strict ideology beliefs,
Right.
it's kind of hard to say something without maybe offending somebody or whatnot. So what
Right.
I told him is that I perceive this entity as an angel, because
Okay.
at the time I could not fathom or experience or know what exactly happened. So I'll
Right.
tell the story kind of briefly. I was in a bad point in my life, very, very bad. I was considering taking my own life. I wanted to end it all. I had a plan to end it all. And this man, he appeared to me as a man, and I forgot what color raincoat he was wearing, but it was an old man wearing either a bright yellow raincoat or a bright red. But I remember him walking into my room at 16 years old, um, and closed the door behind me. In the hallway, I heard what sounded like this man talking to my grandmother. This supposedly never happened. So, anyways, this man enters the room as I'm planning to take my life, and he looks at me.
But
He's
wait a
about
minute. Wait a minute. You're planning to take your life actually in the physical,
in the
right?
physical. Yes, that was
You,
my intention.
and you see this man walk into your room as you're trying
Yes.
to. Okay, go ahead.
And so he walks into the room. The door shuts behind him. I roll my eyes and sigh, because I thought it was a counselor. I thought maybe my parents or somebody knew, how depressed I
Right.
was, what I was going through. And I
Right.
thought he was just a normal counselor. So I
Right.
rolled my eyes and went, ugh. And then he looked at me, and I wish I could remember what he said. And I might do some type of hypnotherapy in the future to regain that memory, because I'm so interested in this and other encounters. But
Okay.
he asked me something about life, and that is the what stuck in my head that I still remember. Something about life. I don't know what it was. And what happened was I rolled my eyes again. I sighed, like, oh, I don't want to be here. And he paralyzed me, like, just like telepathically. That's the best way I can explain it. If anybody who's ever gone through sleep paralysis, when you wake up and can't move, I
I
was
have.
like that, but fully awake, sitting up straight.
It was the man that came to your room in a physical state, or
Yes, he was in physical, full body, full man,
okay.
no type of glow, no type of crazy.
And you've never met him before or anything other than you
I've
think you
never,
might have heard his voice.
I've never even heard his voice before. I heard a voice in the hallway talking to my grandmother, and I assumed it was him because he entered my door right after I heard them
Shortly.
had, sure, like instantly after I heard what appeared to be a conversation between two people.
Okay.
So I assumed he was a counselor. He enters the room, like I said. He asked me about life. I rolled my eyes, sighed. He looked at me, and I was paralyzed. I could not move my body. I could not speak. And the best way I can explain this, like I was trying to touch on, is anybody who's experienced sleep paralysis, when you are waking up but you can't move your body because your body's still half asleep. That's what it was like, but fully conscious. It was like, I don't know if you ever watched the movie, the TV series Westworld. The only reason I watched it was because I was in COVID recovering, and I stopped watching TV. Somebody recommended it, but what happens is they go to these robots and they say, like, command off, and then they freeze. So
Yeah.
that's what happened to me. Like, I was the robot, and
I got,
he like telepathically froze me. And then I tried fighting with all my might, mentally and physically, for about
right.
three to 5 seconds, and then I
Right.
pass out on the bed. And I wake up, the man's gone. I go out at my door, walk downstairs, talk to my
You hold
grandmother.
on. Can you hold on 1 second?
Sure,
Hold on.
sure.
So, let's just continue. Let's just continue. Okay, so you shut your door.
So that event happens. I wake up after being knocked out by this man telepathically. That's the best way I can explain it. I don't know if it was an angel or whatnot. I don't know what happened. So I was extremely confused at the situation. I
Okay.
walk downstairs. I go to my grandmother and I say, "Grandma, who was that man that just came into my room?"
Right.
And she was looking at me like I was crazy. And I'm like, "I heard you talking to him before he entered my room. Who was that man?" She said,
Right.
"Kevin, are you on drugs?" And I looked at her the same crazy way she looked at me, because I was bewildered and I never took any substances before that. I
Right.
mean, I drank alcohol a couple times, but I wasn't, tripping
Yeah.
or anything crazy. It was normal, conscious, like I'm talking to
Yeah.
you right now, and would have a man walk in and that situation happen. I was fully aware of my surroundings and what I intended to do.
Wow.
What's
Wow.
interesting about this encounter, she didn't believe me at first, obviously. My
Right.
brother's the only one who really believes me, because we had some experiences together which were supernatural, to say the least. But
Okay.
what happened is, after that event, I no longer wanted to take my life. It was like
So
this
for
entity,
whatever reason, after that event, you didn't want to take your life
and
anymore.
I had a lot
So
of.
you made a plan to take your life. So you had a set plan, an idea of how you're going to do it, what you were going to do. Oh my God.
I don't really
Thank
want to get.
God that guy walked into your room.
And I honestly, and I've like, and so that experience made me delve into the unknown and the paranormal and religion, and just because I wanted to know what happened. And
Right.
throughout history, there have been people have experienced similar situations that I have when they're visited by the divine, or whatever you want to call them, and they came in and spared their life or did something in a specific way. And
Right.
it seems like all the stories, not all of them, but many of the stories that I've heard where somebody's life was spared in a divine sense, these people have come on to do amazing things with their life and helping humanity. And I've almost died multiple times besides my own wanting to die at that point.
Right.
Um, I truly believe I was spared for a reason, and I'm chosen to do something with this life to help uplift humanity,
Right.
motivate people, and get them out of their limited beliefs. Because once you break free of the limitations of your mind, it's like the possibilities of life are endless.
So tell me then, so this incident happens here, your grandma doesn't believe you. So what happens at this point? You go back to your room and you ponder what just happened, or
Yeah, I was totally confused. I didn't know clue what happened. I'm like, okay, these are two thoughts that came to my mind. I was like, either it's an alien or it's an angel. I don't know. Like that's all I could think of because I have no clue what happened. You know, I'm
right,
16 years old. I'm very young. I don't even know anything about life. I was never part of religion at this point. I have nothing, no background to reflect on what experience just happened. So it was
right.
very to me, very frightening, but also at the same time a little bit liberating because I didn't want to kill myself after that happened. It was like it was removed from my brain.
Okay. So my suggestion then is, at that point when you had that experience, you said you started to investigate, right? So this, okay, you go back to your room, you decide I don't want to die. Now I want to know what happened to me, why it happened to me, and and well, what is this, right? Why am I here, and what do I need to do, and all that happened, right?
Not so much as in at that point I didn't realize that I might have been spared for a reason. I was pissed that I was still alive, to be honest with you. I was like, why? What's good? What's so special about me? Why am I still here?
Right.
You know, that type of thing. I was angry, if
So can
anything.
I ask you why you wanted to take your life?
Okay, so this is something that is, yeah, it was very traumatic. So we were 16-year-old kids playing pranks on each other, and a prank went bad, and somebody got hurt. And we were making these little, they're not bombs, they're little like explosive devices where you mix little household chemicals in a water in like a plastic bottle, and it expands, the gases expand, and it makes a little tiny poof. And I played a prank on one of my best friends, threw it in his car. I was going to pay for the damages. It was a prank. And he saw me and my other friend pull up and throw it in his vehicle. So he went in to investigate, and he already knows what we were doing. So I don't know what made him want to pick it up and look at it, but he put it right up to his face and it exploded. He went to the hospital. His father called me up and said, "Hey, I had to tell the police what happened, that it was you." He's like, "I know you didn't mean anything malicious
Like,
about it. If you did, I would come and kill you right now." That's exactly what he told me. And I was like, "Is he okay?" But because I wanted to find out. And then within 5 minutes, the cops are at my door. I was arrested. And at that point, I wasn't really too worried about the future. What worried me is the newspaper, and this is illegal, and I should have tried to sue them, but I was in such a bad state of mind that I didn't really, nothing really mattered to me at that point. They put my name in there as a minor, which they're not supposed to do legally. They compared me to the shoe bomber, a terrorist, when it was a prank gone wrong with friends. And they made me out to be like I was the incarnation of evil.
the
You know
enemy.
what I mean? And I was a very happy kid. I played lacrosse, sports. I did a bunch of things, and I had a lot of friends. And that was the beginning of my downward spiral because depression hit me very hard. And
Yeah.
what happened in the newspaper is said I was going to face 17 years in prison.
Right.
Mind you, I'm 16 years old at the time.
Yeah.
I could not fathom
Yeah.
facing more time than I'm alive
And yeah, of
with
course.
evil people. And I actually know somebody, unfortunately, he was 19 years old, went to prison, and within a year, he hung himself. So
Oh,
that could have been me if I ended up, in that environment. And thank God, the angels, all my allies, they have, helped me stay away from
right.
ending up like that. And I really believe I'm here for a reason. So I'm not sure
Right.
exactly where I was going from there because I'm still recovering from COVID, and it's my mind sometimes
It's okay.
bounces around. So
It's
if I
okay.
go off
We'll
course,
get to that.
correct
We'll
me.
get to that. Okay. So this happens. obviously you didn't go to jail for 16 years or 17
I
years or
got
whatever.
probation, thankfully, but because of the grace of God, honestly. And I had a family member, my mother's ex knew a very good lawyer, and he came in and represented me. And the judge said, as long as you don't get in trouble, this is all gone. And so I stayed out of trouble. Obviously, I was a good kid. I never got in trouble prior to that. And I wasn't, I'm not a criminal. I'm not trying to hurt anybody or
Right.
anything. And so that all got quaffed, I think the terminology is for courts, and I was able to move on with my life. But I was still stricken with depression and
Yeah.
anxiety even after the fact.
What about your relationship with your friend? Was your friend okay, or what
Oh,
happened to
we
you?
actually grew closer. I'm not,
Oh,
as of now, we kind of drifted apart. But after that event, we became even closer friends. It's so funny
nice.
how that works. We were best friends. We were like this for a couple of years until college happened and everybody moved their separate
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
But it's funny that a horrific event brought us closer together, and even through the whole period of me waiting to go to trial, we were hanging out, as best buddies.
Oh,
So it's kind of like, imagine if I go to, prison for all these years and I'm hanging out with the victim.
right.
It's like, it makes no sense to me. It wasn't him that wanted to press charges, it was the state. So him and his family had no control over whether what was going to happen to me or not. The state did.
Right.
And that's what terrified me, because I know if they did, they know it was a joke, a prank, because we were all doing it to each other. We were doing
Right.
it all the time. And kids at home, do not do this, dude. It's one little mistake. Don't look up any type of explosive things. Or I know when you're younger, you want to have fun and kind of see things explode and have fun, but it's not worth
It's not worth it.
it's not worth it, even a little bit. It's not. If you're going to do anything, learn from professionals and watch them do things, and only do it under adult supervision with professionals, whatever it may be. Do not try anything at home. Do not build your own thing. Don't do anything like that, because one little error can destroy your life. One wrong choice, even if it wasn't
Yeah.
even considered wrong, it was just the wrong timing.
Yeah.
It will ruin
That's a
everything.
big lesson. One wrong choice in your life can destroy your life.
Yes, and it's
One,
funny.
just what it takes one mistake and then you can destroy your life.
And
We really got to discern.
how do I pronounce your name? I don't want to butcher it.
Shiros.
Shy Rose. Okay, lovely name, Shy Rose. So,
Thank
Shy Rose, everything that has happened to me that I used to look at as, oh my God, poor me, poor Kevin. Now, in hindsight, all those adversities and obstacles and challenges have molded me into the man I am today.
absolutely
Continue to help me launch myself to where I want to go.
where you want to go.
And it
Absolutely.
really, all these weird experiences opened me to the fact that, in my true belief, reality is stranger than fiction. And people don't realize that. People just think what they're told on the news and this and that, but there's a lot more going on in this universe and in this world and in the unseen world around us that people are not aware of.
Well, I firmly believe we all have these experiences, but very few of us talk about them
Yeah,
or share what they experience because it's so out of this world, right?
I didn't even want to share it because I don't want people to be like, you're crazy,
Right.
But I'm at the point now where, I mean, recently I came out about some other challenges in my past. And when I'm able to tell my stories and it helps somebody or lets them know they're not alone, it adds value to their lives as well. And I mean, some
Yeah.
people, they just want attention and they'll make up whatever.
Yeah.
But then there are genuine people that want to help and care and want to find out what the heck happened to me. And those are
Absolutely.
the people that I would like to, more connect with and be able to, talk with on these issues, not the ones that are looking for fame and fortune and whatever, but real people who had real experiences.
So tell me now, thank God you got over that situation and your case went through well and that you got out of um, going to jail for some stupid mistake that you did as a kid. And yeah, everyone, if you're younger, don't play with fire. Just don't. There's no benefit to it.
Not even fireworks. Don't even mess around with those things, because all it takes is one wrong thing. You can break somebody's eye out and then you go to jail. It's just, and it's not even the person that's going to sue you. it's the government. So you got to be very careful. The state in which you live in will pick up a charge just to put you in jail. The prison system is all about profit. So the more people they can put in there for any given reason, they're going to do so. So just be careful about what you do, and just be safe, because you never know. Shiraz, I hope I said that right. It was saying, was I saying that right?
Gyros.
Shiro's. Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Like Shiro's was saying, one minor mistake can ruin your life or set it on a totally different trajectory than what you planned. I had so many plans for what I wanted to do, after high school. And what happened to me, Shariz, is because of all the
Gyros.
Rose. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I call you Shy. Is that okay?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, Shy. So what happened with me is my junior, and so this happened at 16, and so then my junior and senior year, I missed 1/3 of the school year because I was so full of depression and anxiety, and I just didn't want to be around people. I was just so in my own head and just So, but I was smart enough. I was graced with intelligence, thankfully, and the teachers didn't like that because I was smart enough not to be there and still get
Right.
A's and B's. So they had to let me pass. They took 20% off all my grades, and I still passed.
Okay.
But so that's like, so if you had an A, it would go down to a 80. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Yeah.
I was still what's A plus, I should say. You go down like
Yeah.
100, go down to an
Like
80.
go to an A minus. I get it. So let
Yes.
me ask you this. So how how far was your decision to commit suicide to your court case?
Right after I read that article, so probably it was with before a year time. So it was almost instantly after the event. I would say within the first month, and I was fine until I read the article from the newspaper. That's what put me into severe dark depression, and I was
Okay.
just I was so and a lot of people, when they are in these states of mind, they do not see a way out, and I know
No.
how that is because I was there. I did
Yeah.
not see a way out at all. I was just like, I can't do this. I cannot put
Yeah.
myself through 17 years of prison with evil people when I know that I'm a good person.
Yeah.
I don't belong there. And I was like,
Yeah.
I have to end it because it's just not going to work out for me. And thankfully, by the grace of God, angels, whatever you want to call them,
Yeah.
I was saved. And
Okay.
now I'm here.
So let's go back to that incident. Let's go forward now. You now have this new lease on life, and you want to know what life is all about. And the court case is probably just playing around in the background. It's secondary to your newfound passion of figuring out what life is all about. Correct?
Correct. So yeah, I started diving into the unknown, like anything paranormal, aliens, magic, whatever you could think of. I was trying to figure out, what is going on here. Like
Right.
what is life? What is the makeup of our reality? And I really dove into philosophy and a lot of the different philosophies throughout history. And the
Right.
same thing with some certain religions, I dove into that as well because I wanted
Right.
to find an explanation of what was going on. And to
Right.
this day, I still question the makeup of our reality. I'm a
Right.
very deep thinker, and I still question. I'm like, what is this life all about?
Right.
I don't know if you ever thought that,
Yeah.
Shira,
Oh,
or
of course, of course, of course. I mean, I grew up with my own experiences that led me to, really, really question what life was all about and the metaphysics of it and all that. But today's focus is you. So
I can't turn it around on you. I was gonna ask you a
you
couple.
could,
Well,
but let's
can you tell me one of your biggest things before we jumping back into me? What
sure.
big?
When I was what would be the one to tell? Well, the biggest thing of my grandma passed away when I was 10 years old, but when she passed away, the experience was like for a 10-year-old, it was very different experience. She was a very spiritual being. I used to meditate with her, and she was diagnosed with cancer. Now, to make a long story short, my grandma's diagnosed with cancer, and I go to her and I'm like, Mom, what happened, right? What's going on? They're talking about upstairs how you're going to leave in 2 weeks. Where are you going, right? And her belly was really expanded, almost like she was pregnant, because she had stomach cancer. So my grandma says to me, nothing's going to happen to me. You wait and see. Nothing's going to happen. Doesn't matter what the doctors say. It doesn't matter what mom and dad say. Nothing's going to happen to me. And they said she was going to die in 2 weeks. Well, in 2 weeks, I watched her belly go from wherever it was right back to normal.
Awesome.
And that was my very first experience with, I can't believe anything my parents say. I can't believe anything the doctors say.
Me too.
I can only believe what my grandma says, right? And so she taught me how to meditate and spiritual things. And that was more important to me than the material things that were out there. So, we were Muslim and I was Muslim. So, I wanted to learn to read the Quran. I wanted to learn about, she used to watch Star Trek. So I wanted to know what was happening in Star Trek. My grandma, who's from East Africa, Tanzania, didn't speak English, but she was really attracted to Star Trek. So with Star Trek, meditation, and my own faith, the intermingling in my mind was all about paranormal and learning about what life was all about. And then, yes, I had my own experiences too. And we can talk about that, but let's talk about you now.
Sure. Just before we end, because I'm really interested about your grandmother, was she doing something specific, or was it a mind over matter thing that she just told her mind that
she was meditating? She was meditating and meditating and meditating, and she was a spiritual lady in that sense, but she wasn't doing anything other than that. And it was definitely a mind over matter thing.
I love it. I love it. Have you heard of Dr. Joe Dispenza? Have you heard of him?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes, he has some amazing work. I love how these new things are being brought to light about, the power of the mind over the body. I think it's fascinating, and I love people like him, who's similar to your grandmother. He went through the whole spinal injury and
with the back
in his mind over and over. They told him, you're never going to walk again, you're never going to do this again, and he's like, I'm not accepting that as an answer. And he sat there and he rebuilt his spine with his mind. Pretty much is the way he summed it up. But I don't want to hold you up from your next question, so we can move on.
No, I'd love to spend tons of time talking to you, because I'm sure we'd have many similarities in discussion. Joe Dispenza, I followed him for quite a while. I've read his books. I'd love to interview him one day, but he's kind of harder to get to than Kevin is.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, in 5 years, it might be very hard to get to me, because I'm on the rise, and I'm in Les Brown speakers training program, and it's just
wonderful. Good for you.
Les Brown is?
Of course.
He's an amazing man. It's like something happened, a major shift happened in my mind. Like, have you ever heard of like paradigm shifts? I know Bob Proctor talks about it a lot. But once I was able to talk to somebody who I considered my hero, it was like some of my limiting beliefs just kind of flew away. It's like, if I can talk to my hero, Les Brown, man on man, like a human being, I can talk to
anybody.
And it's just like that. It was something that really kind of clicked once it happened. So I suggest to anybody out there that's scared of maybe talking to people, try to find somebody you truly admire as a hero, and try to have a conversation with them, because once you realize, hey, I can talk to this person, I can talk to anybody. So that's something I'll recommend to the audience.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Yes, everyone needs somebody, a life coach or a mentor or somebody. Everybody needs somebody, and you got to make sure whoever it is someone you trust, and you learned about them from someone you trust, and you actually spoke to them one-on-one.
Yes.
Actually, physically, not through any social media or anything. You actually sat together and communicated. I think that's really important too. So okay, let's go back to what we were talking about you. Okay, so you go on this search for paranormal, and then tell me about your next experience and how it happened, and
so,
what created it.
There's so many different ones. I'm trying to think of something that I can say that doesn't sound too crazy.
No, forget about not sounding not too crazy or crazy. just go with the flow, and in fact, don't think about it. Use your intuition and let your intuition tell you.
Let my intuition guide me. I like that. That's what happened with the. I don't know. You were in the same group as me, and I sent the videos to Augustus because he was curious about the things that I caught. My brother caught something on camera, and I caught
Right.
something on camera, and I sent it to him, and all he said is, "This is wild." He want to give me a different response, but I mean, he seems like he might be a little out there. I don't know him
Yeah.
personally, but
I don't know him either. I just know of him after coming here, but
yeah,
coming
me
to
too.
right. So, um, but again, we can talk about that experience in a minute. But tell me about your next experience.
So I think that was okay. That wasn't my next experience. Let me try to give me 1 second. I'm just trying to draw
Sure.
my
I want
through.
to take it chronologically so we can determine
Yeah, yeah.
um, what changed, how it changed, why it changed, and where it all came from, if we can.
Well, okay. So I started really digging into like I was telling you, the unknown, the paranormal, all that type of stuff, and weird things started happening in my life. Um, and this is something that's true, which is I don't even know how this even happened. So one day I was in my room and I put my phone down, and there's a balcony outside of the one of the rooms, the room that I was staying in, outside the balcony. And I come back, I went downstairs for some reason, came back up, looked at my phone, and there was a new picture on my phone. And the picture was taken while I was downstairs. Nobody else is in the house. And it was taken outside. Exactly. This is very weird. That's what I'm saying. Weird things have been happening. So this is the next weird thing. And this is what got me trying to dive even deeper. Like, what is going on here? So there was this picture, and the picture showed what appeared to be a ghost or a demon or something in the picture frame on my back porch, as if I opened the back porch door, took a picture with my camera, and set my camera down, which I never did, which was weird. So I saw that picture. I think I still have it saved somewhere. I can probably send it to you later on. And I think
Sure.
it might be interesting to put up
Yeah,
inside this
absolutely.
interview, to put in the
Yeah,
middle, like, hey, this is
yeah,
one of the things we experienced. This is something we caught on camera. Um,
yeah.
so that was one of the things, and there was multiple entities. I don't even know what to call them. Besides, I say entities because entity can be anything.
Right.
So there was multiple things that were seen on the camera or on the photo, and it was just like, and I showed it to multiple people. I'm like, am I crazy, or do you see something here as well? And they're
Right.
like, there's something there. So
Right. Right.
so that was one thing. Another thing that happened very around that time, that got me thinking, like, what is going on? What is happening in this world? My little brother, who was like 3 years old at the time, was sitting in front of the basement door, like in a tiny little toddler chair, like that's like a foot tall, staring
So
there.
you were 17, 18. He was 3 years old.
I would have been 21 because we were
21.
8
Okay.
years apart, for my youngest brother. So I would have been around 21, 22.
Okay.
And I walk downstairs and I see him sitting in front of the basement room door. Door's closed. He's staring at the door, kind of moving up and down, his head up and down like this.
Right.
And I'm like, Tyler, what are
I
you doing,
see dead
buddy?
people.
And he was like, hi, he started laughing like a maniac, like as if he was possessed or something, and he wouldn't stop. And I was just like, I had to grab him, and I'm like, are you okay? Like, that scared the crap out of me, because it wasn't him. I don't know how to explain it, but like something seemed to, in my opinion, something seemed to have taken him over. And he lives in that same house with my mother right now, because he's still growing
Right.
older.
Yeah, I'm starting to think, is your house haunted?
Well, it's from the 1800s, so
Okay.
there's some, obviously some things going around. And the videos that I took was from the one I was referring to in the call that the clubhouse call that we were on, was the neighbor's yard, not our yard, and they're gone every winter, so it's all empty. And this is where this happened in the wintertime. So I
Okay.
know it wasn't them out back doing a bunch of random stuff, and you can kind of see from the videos that it's not people.
Right.
But
Right.
anyways, so that was another experience that I was just like, okay, what is going on here? There's some weird things happening.
And
And
so
he
what happened before this experience? What happened immediately before it? Like, what do you think instigated this experience?
with my little brother.
No, yeah, with your little brother and the picture that you received on your phone, all
I,
that stuff.
I was
Because
meditating. I was meditating a lot, and I was always researching into the unknown and
uh,
stuff like
uh,
that. And there was
so
something.
you're opening up the channel then by meditating and you're researching the paranormal.
Yes. So maybe I made a connection. There was this
You
thing
did.
I heard a long time ago. I don't know if it's true, but I read that somewhere. I read online, like if you want to meet an alien before you go to bed, dream, put a visualization in your mind that you're going to be visited. And I did that. So
Right.
maybe that's why it happened. I don't know. I just
Okay.
don't do it anymore. But I did that a while ago, because I wanted to know. I just wanted to
Yeah.
know, and I wanted to remember, and I wanted. I'm very anything that's knowledge that other people don't know. I want to know. I'm all about wanting to learn things that people don't know. I'm very open minded but skeptical at the same time. You know what
Right.
I mean? Like
Yeah.
you'll hear an outrageous, crazy thing, and it's like, okay, it's probably not true, but if it is, it's kind of interesting. Let me do some research. That type
Right.
of thing.
So your
Like
brother, you shake him, what, ask if he's okay, and then what happens?
just kept laughing like a madman for a couple minutes, and then he finally broke out of it, and then I was just like, what the heck? And he also, it's funny because you know how they say kids see ghosts and stuff a lot easier because they're more innocent maybe, or
Yeah.
whatever it is. He saw my great grandfather walking through the yard after he passed away.
Oh,
So it's
yeah.
so he has some type of maybe
Yeah.
perception as well when it comes
Well,
to
yeah. Yeah.
seeing things that aren't really there or passed on or old energy or whatever. But
Right.
that was that experience. And then I'll lead you up to, I believe, the UFO encounter thing happened first. So there's a couple different ones. One time I was getting out of stop. It was broad daylight. I was walking out of I got out of the car and I look over and there's a plant where I live, old General Electric plant that got shut down because they were dumping PCBs into the water and they got sued. But this is a massive, massive plant. It's not small. It's like the size of, I don't even know how to explain how big it is. It's like 10 Walmarts combined. That's how,
Oh,
if not bigger. Like it's huge. It's 10 super Walmarts combined, I should say.
okay.
And I'm thinking, and I always see cars parked there, and they're very nice vehicles, and they're supposedly shut down, and nothing's going on in the building. And so that always kind of always wonder when I pass it, I'm like, there's something going on here because there's no reason this big building is just empty at all times. And I wasn't thinking this at the time of when I saw this, but I got out of the car, and I was about a quarter mile away from GE, the place that I was just explaining. And I could see very clearly, broad daylight. Nobody else apparently saw it. Was this your normal saucer-shaped craft hovering down nice and slow, not fast, just nice and slow, right into the GE property, like somewhere within the
What?
building. Yeah, broad daylight. I'm watching this. I think I was with my mother at the time, and I tried catching her attention, but by the time she looked, it already landed. And I'm like, does nobody else see this? Like, what is going on here? And so that was another experience. And I can hop on to the next one whenever you're ready.
Yeah, please go ahead.
All right. So we
I
were,
don't I don't really have a follow-up question to that one because like what?
yeah,
You were
what can you
just
really
in the
ask?
area and you just saw it. So
It's funny because my brother also has told me many times, well, not many times, say at least twice, that he was in the same area, Berkshire, Massachusetts. I don't know if you know where that is,
I
but
don't.
there was some actual, one of the most well documented UFO abduction cases is with Betty White, and I forgot her husband, but
Yeah.
this happened back in like the 60s or 70s or something like that.
Yeah.
It was in
I
Great
think
Bear.
it's Betty and John. I think it's Betty and John.
Yes, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. And
Yeah.
that was in the same vicinity as me. And there's
Yeah.
something else that happened, which I have to watch the video on. My friend just sent it to me. A man was in Wisconsin, and then 15 months later, he appeared in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, wearing different clothes, a satchel with maps in his pocket and a bunch of other random stuff. I don't know how true that is. I haven't watched it yet. I haven't done research, but I
Right.
just find the area that I'm in and the things that are happening very, very weird. So
Right.
the next encounter, the next sighting, I should say, we were fishing and it was three of us. So it wasn't just one person seeing
Right.
something,
Right.
validation from multiple sources. And the
Right.
funny thing is we all saw something a little bit different, which is
Right.
weird, very weird. So our perceptions were different when we watched this event happen,
Right.
partially. So of course I missed the majority of it because I had to go to the bathroom and take a pee. So I walked over to the bushes and I didn't, I'm, doing my thing, and out of nowhere, I've heard the noise was sounded like Pearl Harbor attack, like as if planes and bombers were coming down. I was
Oh
like,
my God.
it was like as if I was in the middle of a war zone, and
Right.
my adrenaline shot through the roof. I turned around, ran to where my brother and his girlfriend were, and looked up, and all I could see is this jet black helicopter chasing. I couldn't even tell what it was chasing, but what it because it morphed into a helicopter. Or no, I'm sorry, the black, like black Apache, whatever you want to call it, jet black helicopter was chasing this object that it changed its form into an airplane, a big jumbo jet. It wasn't that when I first viewed it. It was like kind of foggy and weird looking, and then it changed its form into a jumbo jet, and it was chasing it very fast. We look into the direction of the mountain range where this came from, and
Right.
you know how normally on a mountain range there'll be that one little light that blinks purple or
Yeah. Sometimes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so imagine that, but times 1,000, all over the sky and
Right.
flickering different colors
Wow.
above the mountain, all different colors flickering left to right, and they
Wow.
were not really moving as much, but they were all flickering as if I
Okay.
don't know how to really explain it better than that. Purplish pink colors,
Right.
and that lasted for about 5 minutes, maybe 3 to 5
Okay.
minutes. As soon as that ended, the whole place was silent. Like you could hear the wildlife prior to this event.
Right.
Everything went silent, and it got dark within like 2 to 3 to 5 minutes.
Wow.
It wasn't dark out at that point. The light was still out. I maybe had an hour left until it was going to be dark, but instantly everything became dark, and I was like, I had a feeling of terror inside of me, and
Right.
I said to my brother and his girlfriend, I'm like, we gotta get out of here now, because if we don't, the government might come in and try to ask us questions, or I don't want to see the Men in Black. I was like, well, let's just get out of here. And I had this sense of terror inside me, and I knew that if we did not leave right then and there, that something might have happened, because the
Escalated.
helicopter obviously saw us
Yeah.
because it was only 100 feet above our head. That's
Right.
how close
Wow.
it was to us
Wow.
when all
Wow.
this happened. And I know people usually say they don't hear a noise
Yeah.
when something is happening, but this was the total opposite. It was very, very loud. It shook me to the core. My adrenaline shot
I
up, and
get the I got the feeling in me that it wasn't an experience in the time and space we're in. Forgive me for saying this, but it's an experience from a time and space prior, but you're experiencing it in this time and space. Sorry, I had to say that.
no, no, definitely. I love to hear different opinions and stuff. I don't know what the heck happened. I just know it was
Yeah.
it
Just
was
because of the color of the helicopter and the image that flashed in my mind as you were saying it, whatever happened made me feel like it was a earlier experience that you're experiencing now to see it happen, but it wasn't exactly in our time that it happened.
and
Anyways, we're
no, I get what you're saying. Like a different, I don't even know how to explain it either, but I understand the concept. And so what's weird is my brother didn't see it chasing a plane. He saw it chasing a UFO, the
uh-huh.
helicopter, and I saw the UFO turn into a jumbo
uh,
jet. That's what
right,
I saw and perceived, and I forgot exactly what his girlfriend perceived, but we were all talking about it, and we're all like, do we all just see the same thing happen? Because
right,
we need a little bit of verification from each other,
right,
and we weren't
right.
just one person being like, oh, I saw
Yeah,
something crazy and nobody's going to
yeah,
believe me.
yeah.
So it was nice to have the social proof of three people witnessing the same event
Absolutely.
simultaneously. And the mountain
So,
range thing after the fact was the craziest part, because it was like, I mean, if you're looking at a mountain 5 miles away, 10 miles away, whatever it may be, and you just look and you could visualize it's probably at least 2, 3, 4, 500 feet up, all these lights across the sky. And I'm talking
right,
hundreds going
right.
pink and purple, flashing, 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 and doing that for about 5 minutes straight. And then once it stopped, the whole,
The whole
um,
thing. Hold on
everything
one sec.
right after it stopped.
Yeah. So then, wow, that's a pretty phenomenal experience in
It was
itself.
weird, and and it would have been uh, way more in depth talking about it together at the end. But as soon as we got back, there was a different situation that we had to handle. So we all everything that happened and how amazing it was went on the back burner because of a new thing we had to take care of once we got back to the house. But we still talk about it to this day, me and my brother, and we plan on going back there again and doing some fishing at night to see what we see.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so moving on, tell me about more like your research and what's developed so far, your meditation. What are you doing in the background to these experiences happening?
So I'm not going to get too in depth in things, but what I do
Okay.
is really try to still my mind and focus on my breathing when I meditate. I know people have different routines and different methods that they use. I've tried the Wim Hof exercise breathing. I actually like that one. That was pretty interesting. Andrew Huberman, who is a neuroscience, his method, which I just started doing, especially because I'm dealing with the recovering of COVID, is you take in 2 deep breaths and then hold it, release, and do it 3 times. And I guess it releases the T cells in your body to go and attack all the viruses. So I've been trying to do that daily as well.
So
But
you take
that,
2 breaths and you hold it, and then you just exhale.
let me show you real quick. So just from what he said. Okay, so
Right.
you just out in your nose. So and you do that 3 times, and then you'll
Okay.
feel the adrenaline kind of rise in your body and your heat, and you'll get a little hotter. And it's supposed to calm you down, but for me, it amps me up. I don't know. I don't
Right.
know, but it seems to do something to your neurological or your
Yeah.
physiological.
Yeah. My body heats up often. I'm still trying to figure out what that's all about. But
Once I
anyway.
start sweating, I can't stop. It takes me like 3 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that's good to know that someone else experiences that.
It's not just you.
Okay. Um, so then, okay, do you want to go to your next experience, or is there something you want to share between now and the next
Yeah,
experience?
I mean, well, I've had a bunch a bunch of weird ones, but I mean, I'll tell you two weird ones, and then I'll go on to the next encounter, which I mentioned in the group that we were
Right.
talking about. So this happened when I was struggling and going through a hard time, and after everything we previously talked about. So this is probably like 5 years ago now, or 5 years ago about now. And
Okay.
so I woke up one night and, well, I got a few different things I can tell you actually. I woke up one night and I turned around and I was moving, so I wasn't sleeping. And I woke up, it was pitch dark and it's dark in the room, but I could see the silhouette of an outline of a man that was like 6 feet tall, all black, like a shadow being, I guess they call them. Because I looked into it after, because I wanted to know what the heck this thing was, and if
Okay.
what's the intentions were. And I heard that some of them have red eyes and some of them wear hats and this and that. I didn't see any of that. It was just a 6 foot tall silhouette outline of something staring at me while I
And
was sleeping.
it was black.
It was jet black, blacker than the darkest part of the room. So that's
I've
how I,
had that. I've had that experience, except it wasn't in the physical. Um, I was in a meditation, and it was a meditation to. It was a mediumship meditation because I was in a mediumship class, and so in the meditation, you go to the other side to meet whoever you want to meet, right? And so I see myself sitting on a bench there, and then this shadow being comes and sits beside me, and he just goes like this and looks at me like this. And then I wasn't scared or anything. I was like, just okay. So he's sitting here. It wasn't, oh, there was nothing. And then I went on with my meditation to the next level or whatever. So I wonder if it's when you have that experience in the physical, are you in the spiritual space where they are, like where I experienced it, for example, at the same time as you're in your physical body, and so you see them, but they're actually always there.
well, what's funny is that you mentioned that, and I think I might have touched on this in the meeting, is that I don't know if I might have some inherently clairvoyant abilities or whatever
Yeah,
you may want to call
yeah,
them, but can see outlines of entities in like a silhouette form of like the predator, like I was mentioning
right.
during, and that's how things appear to me throughout daily life when I do focus on things and pay attention. And I forgot where I was going to jump off on that.
Wherever it is, I'm not going there. But you can tell the story.
So yeah, I mean that was the only encounter I had with that thing, and then another encounter I had, which I was more angry about than scared, was I was in bed one night, and then this, I would say entity because I don't know what to call them,
Yeah, it's
it
okay.
like reached its hand or whatever you want to call it down my throat and started pulling something out, and it was while I was sleeping. So it was like half dream state, half awake state. And I woke up and I was just furious. I wasn't scared. I was furious that something was doing something to me without my permission.
Right.
And that never happened again after that point. And then last thing I'm going to touch on before we get
So
into it.
so when that happened, though, you were furious, but was, like, you see, you're meditating and you're studying metaphysical paranormal stuff. So would you say in the time that you started um, studying and meditating to this experience, has your experience changed in your meditation? Like, what have you noticed? Have you
Um,
become
in terms,
calmer? Have you become more aware of your surroundings?
yes, I've
Are colors brighter? Are you like, talk to me about that a little bit?
So I noticed that when I do specific things and I go around in nature, it's like as if I'm experiencing life through my higher self. I see the beauty in everything. I don't know how to explain it much better than that. And I'm extremely happy and light and uplifted. And it's like everything is perfect. That's the, and full of love. That's the best way I can
Right.
um, explain that in terms of meditating into where it kind of
So
got
when you
me.
say you look at it from the perspective of your higher self, how do you even know that you're looking at it from the perspective of your
Because
higher
it's
self?
not the
Or
same as my own personal ego. That's how I can kind of tell, is
how do you differentiate?
because when I go from feeling like I am right now with you talking to
Yes.
feeling almost enlightened, it's a totally different state of being. That's the best way I can explain it. And people that have gone there and gone through it, I'm sure they can relate and understand
Yeah,
a little bit of what I'm saying.
absolutely. Absolutely. I just wanted you to make that distinction for the people in the audience, right? For their
Yeah, definitely, definitely. As much as I can offer in terms
as
of
much as you
my
can.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, okay, so okay, this is a where do we go from here? What's the next thing?
So I got one last thing, then we'll jump into what we were talking about on the clubhouse, and
Okay.
then we can kind of wrap up because I don't have anything else yet to
Okay.
really
Okay.
talk about that I
Okay.
want to talk about. So,
Okay.
when I was 27 years old on my birthday, the weirdest thing happened to me. I was laying in bed and I thought about my mother and my brother, and like feelings of happiness came to me while I was taking a nap on my birthday, and I launched out of my body. Like, people astral project
Yeah.
like purposefully.
Yeah.
This happened non-intentionally, and it was the first time it ever happened to me. And before this, I was meditating a lot, but I
Right.
never
Right.
tried to do this. I never even really looked
Right.
into it. And so
Right.
when I ended up on the end of my bed and I'm looking around and I'm freaking out, and then I get sucked back into my body. And so ever since that experience, I started diving into what is astral projection, what is the ethereal realm, what is the astral realm, what are
Right.
the 10 different
Right.
mental planes, or whatever you want to call them, of existence. Because I
Right.
know from what a lot of the esoteric scholars and stuff say is that we live in what is it now, 11 different dimensions or something.
Yeah. Well, I imagine it's unlimited, but we know of 11.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there. It's unlimited. um and So once I'm going to mention something after too, which happened when I was 18. But when I finish this, um, so when that happened, when I astral projected by accident, I started looking into it, and I got into Robert Bruce, who anybody who astral projects, probably knows him, and learned a method
Yeah.
on how to do it
Yeah.
through him.
I learned lucid dreaming through his book. Absolutely.
So I did the whole rope method to get out of your body, and it worked. It took a little while. It took some practice, and I would literally, because I was so excited to find, I wanted to fly. I wanted to get out of my body and fly through the sky. I was so excited about that. I still haven't been able to do that yet.
But when you had that experience that day, you learned how to lucid or whatever after the fact, not before, right? That was.
After, yes, the first one was spontaneous. I had no
But what
intention.
happened? What happened when you left your body?
I just flew to the end of my bed and was on the end of my bed sitting, and I was like, what just happened? And then I freaked out and got sucked back into my body.
Right.
And that's
Right.
when I started researching it and finding out the
Right.
methods and finding out
So
what
someone's
exactly.
obviously guiding you through the things that can happen. So you go and do the research so you can learn more.
I think that's exactly what's happening. I don't know if it's the HGA or what it is that's kind of watching me and guiding me to do specific things, and bring me down.
HGA. What's HGA?
The Holy Guardian Angel.
Okay, that's better.
You've heard about that, right?
No, you gotta tell me about that.
Oh, I don't. I haven't personally met my own, so I don't really. I can't tell you too much about that. I've
Well,
had.
well, when you say holy guardian angel, from what perspective? We all have a guardian angel, and we all have spirit guides and all that, as we well know. But from what perspective are you referring to as a holy guardian angel from the Christian perspective?
No, I'm not Christian at all. I'm very spiritual, so I'm just. I refer to it as the one that's guiding me along my path. That is giving direction to me from the divine, so to speak.
Okay,
That's probably the best way I can explain it.
perfect, perfect. Okay, so then I haven't heard that acronym before. Um, okay, so then okay, carry on. Tell me about the next experience.
Yeah, so what I think would, and I don't recommend this to anybody at home. So let me just say this, fair warning. When I was 18, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so when I was 18 years old, me and a bunch of friends, we took
You did
LS.
another crank. You did another prank after that
No,
one
no,
prank.
no, no pranks, no pranks, no
Okay,
pranks.
okay, okay, okay.
When I was 18 years old,
I'd come through the Zoom and I'd come and beat you up if that was
no, no more pranks. I stopped that. I learned my lesson.
okay. Good.
So I was 18 years old, and I don't know if you ever heard of Salvia divinorum? It's
Yeah.
an ancient South American herb. Anyways, you've probably heard of LSD as well.
Yeah.
So I'm 18 years old. My friends have some LSD and some 80x Salvia divinorum, which was the strongest you could legally buy at the time. I think it might be illegal now. I don't know. Everything becomes illegal in the U.S. It's kind of crazy. Anything that's a plant becomes illegal. But so I was obviously dosed, and I only took one hit of this Salvia divinorum ADX, and I was launched out of my body. And have you seen the movie The Matrix?
Yes.
Do you remember the scene when Neo is in the white room when there's nothing else in there but just pure whiteness?
Yeah.
So that is, I ended up into a dimension where it was all white and it was like 2D. That's the best way I can explain it. It was 2D, it was not 3D. It was all white. I was like merged with, I would call the divine or a type of god or something, and it was towering above me, and this, it had no real structure to it. It was just there, and it said the same thing that happened when I was 16. It asked me a question about life, which I cannot remember again. And so what happened is that lasted for about 5-10 seconds. I fell through my body. Since it was 2D, this is the best way I can explain it. I fell through my body head first, down through my toes and back into my body. And when it was in my, we were all in the car hanging out. I opened the door, ran outside, and was freaking out. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know who my friends were. It took me about a half an hour before I realized what my name was, who I was, and where I was.
I know that experience too. I had it. I had that experience. Well, I had a seizure, but I know that experience where you wake up out of something and you don't know what you are, let alone who you are. Forget who you are. You don't even know what you are. You're just like, yeah, I've had that.
And so let me jump back to the astral projection thing. So when I tried doing it on my own, after it happened spontaneously, I was able to do it, but it was like I was carrying 1,000 pounds on my shoulder, probably because my energy body at that time was not strong enough. Like I wasn't trained to really do that type of stuff. I was kind of just learning stuff offline. I never had a master or mentor or anything like that. So every step I took away from my body was like I had 1,000 pound backpack that was holding me down. And for some reason, I got scared when it was successful. I yelled out for help telepathically because you can't really speak in that stage, from what I experienced, anyways. It's all in the mind. I called out for help telepathically. This giant gray cloud that was about 6 feet came through my wall, took me, threw me back into my body. I tried fighting it, and I had what would be, I would call a mini seizure. Like my eyes were flickering and like not like not, I can't even do it if I wanted to show you right now. That's how fast they were moving. It was like, and I woke up and I wrote down the whole experience while my eyes were still going through these rapid movements, because I did not want to forget the encounter because it was that strange. So so ever since that happened, I've tried to project a few times, but honestly, I've at this point put that on the back burner because it's not as important to me now as it once was. And I've tried so many times, and the closest I get is to barely leaving my body and perceiving the entities around me. Like I can see them, but I can't move. So there's no point of me really getting past that. But that was the end of that. We can move on to the next one as soon as you are ready to.
Well, I wanna end that experience of you seeing what you call entities. Now it seems like you're seeing multiples instead of just one, right?
Yes.
And so, what do you think changed to make it so that you see multiples? I don't know.
I have no clue. I have as much clue as you do. It was
Do you
weird.
think it's because of the drug?
Maybe, I don't know. I have no clue. Because of what?
That's the only variable that seems to have changed.
Because of what?
That's the only variable that seems to have changed, right?
What was that?
The drug. You had the drug this time.
The drug. Oh no, this is a different experience.
Oh, is it? Okay.
That was the one I just explained to you about seeing the whole nature thing. That was when I ingested something. The other stuff was sober.
Okay. So So that one incident was the only time you had the drug. This other one, you didn't have the drug. I
Yes.
thought you had the drug here too. Okay.
Correct. No, that's the only time. And I mean, I've taken when I was 18 as well. I've taken
And I guess you learned your lesson and you're not going to do it anymore.
well, I don't know if I'm ever gonna try that again because it was terrifying, but it was like I was reborn at the same time. That's so hard to explain. Like
Wow.
um I was like a new person. Like I was just like a
Right.
new person thrown in this body. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I don't, and that's why like now I truly believe like we are not our bodies, our what we look like, none of that. We're our consciousness and our souls, as human beings. We're all the same when it comes to our consciousness and our human spirit. And
Right.
that is what I've come to believe from the experiences that I've had so far in this life. But the entities that I was referring to before were just like weird looking ones, and they started scaring the hell out of me. So that's when I stopped doing this. It was like a pirate looking one that was like smiling at me, all weird looking.
Right.
So I just stopped that and haven't tried that again since because I couldn't move. I could get
Yeah.
to the point where I'm level, like about to be out,
Yeah.
stuck, and I could
Yeah.
see around me, but I could no longer
You
move.
can proceed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got you.
So that's why I
Okay.
stopped.
Okay. Let's go to the next one.
The next one. So this is going to be the clubhouse thing, right?
Well, it has to do with your interview here now. It doesn't have anything to do with the clubhouse.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the last thing I can really kind of finish up on because this is more
Okay.
recent. This only happened uh months ago, not even a full year ago. I think it
Oh
might.
my God. I
Yeah,
didn't realize that.
oh yeah, this happened like in December, maybe November. So it was very recently. I was
And you're not even in that same house anymore, or you're not
I'm not.
frequenting it. You're not frequenting
I
it.
go
Any
I go there once in a while to see some family, but I'm not frequenting it. My little brother, I just found out, is afraid to go to the bathroom at night. So I think something might be left
happening.
behind from me, possibly that's scaring
Right.
him. I don't know, but I got to figure that out down the road at some point and see what I can do or call somebody in to help us cleanse the property. So
Go in there and just ask whatever it is to show itself and tell you what it is and why they're tormenting your brother if they're tormenting him.
yeah, well,
And go confidently and strong. Don't back down. And if you don't have the confidence to do it or the strength or
I
the
do.
power to do it, then you bring someone else in.
I have the confidence because I truly believe I'm protected by the divine. I know how arrogant,
There you go.
I know how ignorant that might sound, but I truly believe that from the experiences that I've had and some of the relations.
Amen.
But so the last thing like happened very recently
Right.
was the one with the stuff on video, and I think I'm gonna send this to you, and you can do like a little pause section where you can add it
Yeah,
in or whatever you want to do and
I'll
say
do that. Sure.
things. And it shows I'm recording on the, so we're 2 stories up, right? There's no balcony. There's no way. I looked up the next day to see if anybody could climb up there, and it's impossible. Nobody could climb. No human could climb up there and do what we caught on camera. So I'm on the left side, and my intuition out of nowhere said, "Hey, take your camera and start filming the outside next door neighbors." And they're gone in Florida all winter long. Nobody's there.
Okay.
So I take my camera out and I start filming, and with the naked eye, you can't see anything. It looks like it's just black. On
Okay.
the camera, you can see all the spirit orbs and lights going crazy around each other, doing a bunch of wild things, just going nuts, absolutely
Right.
nuts. If you want, I can send you both the videos. The one of them is much longer. The one my
Sure.
brother has was only 2 minutes because he got scared and ran away.
Sure. No worries. No worries.
Am I allowed to swear on here or no? I just wanted to make sure real quick.
Well, I'd rather you don't, but I
Okay,
mean,
no, that's fine.
so that families can watch it together
Yes,
if they
I
need
gotcha.
to.
So I'll abbreviate what he said. So I'm talking the whole time I'm filming, and you can hear me in the background of his video because I'm on the left side of the window, out the curtain filming. he's on the right side filming because I wanted to get as much as possible. Because
Right.
as I started filming and catching some stuff on camera, I was like, I got to get him to come in here and film this with me. And
Right.
so I'm filming, I'm talking, I'm like, dude, do you see all these lights on the left-hand side going crazy? Do you see what's happening right now? And he's like very quiet, and like you could tell something was up in his voice. He's like, F the left side, man. You're not gonna want to watch this video. You're not gonna want to watch this at all. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, look at how crazy this is on the left side. He's like, F the left side, man. You're not gonna want to watch this video. And then it's what appeared to be like your typical Hollywood gray entity, but it was green and bigger. And it turned its head to my brother. It blinked and he freaked out and he ran away and put the phone down. And I had to go get it. And I tried to upload. And what's weird is because I tried the phones after that, both phones like crashed. Like they would not work. Like I uploaded the videos to Facebook and I took them down quick because people are ignorant and I don't want to deal with any BS. So I just took them down. You know what I mean? Like, oh,
yeah, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
I had somebody saying, oh, our aliens chasing you, blah, blah. And I'm just like, I don't need to. I'm trying to build my own brand on my speaking abilities and the things I'm trying to do positive for people. I don't want anybody holding me back. You know what I mean? So
it's my Facebook. My Facebook's hacked right now, and so I don't even care. I'll start from scratch. I'll rebuild it, and I'll have the right people. And it's not about quantity for me; it's about quality. So
quality, yeah, same here. I'm all about the quality over quantity, definitely.
I'm not after the 20,000, but I do want quality followers.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, I took all those videos down, but it took like 8 hours to upload them just to Gmail, so that way I could share it. And from your phone, that has high-speed internet to your email should take 2 seconds to 2 minutes, not 8 hours. So that was weird. And then also, and he said this to me first before I even said it, because I noticed it as well. And you can still see the quality, you can still see it. But he's like, right after I filmed it and we both watched it, you can tell the quality dropped off dramatically. And then the other day when we were on the Clubhouse, I was looking for the videos to share with Augustus or whatever his name is, because he was asking about it. And I wanted to show that I wasn't full of crap, that I had some evidence to back up what I was saying. So, it'd be more authentic and people could see, hey, this guy is the real deal. He's not just making this stuff up. So I went to my sent emails on both of them and it was gone, which is weird, very weird. So I had my old phones though. I dug them up and I was able on one of them to get it back to my email and I sent it to him and I sent him 2 different videos. And there was one that was good that I could not upload. It would not let me upload. It kept saying error. And I'm like, why is it saying error? But anyways, I have 2 videos that I'm going to send to you if you want me to.
Can you show us the one that won't upload? Can you show it to us like on the screen?
Like right this second? No.
Well, whatever. It doesn't have to be the second.
I can probably send you a video of doing it or something like that. Because it takes those phones after that incident, like they were working okay. Now, terrible. They don't charge. They don't.
I hear you.
To open up one file. Like it took me that night that I sent Augustus those because I wanted to find the videos because I'm like, that got taken off my Google account. That has never happened before. Like a sent email, you'll find everything you send.
Yeah.
And I sent it to myself. So I couldn't find the receiving end of it or the sending end
of it. Yeah.
So I was like, something weird is going on here. And then the quality dropped off as well. But you can still, I watched it again. I sent it to my brother again recently because we were talking about this. I told him about the interview I was going to have with you. And so
would love to interview your brother too to corroborate what he knows, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine with me, but I don't know how many experiences besides the being in a car, seeing a UFO over his head, and then the experience with me that I mentioned at the lake with his girlfriend. Those are the only 2 that I know of that he's experienced.
Well, it would be nice to have all 3 of you talk about just that one incident even.
Yeah, sure. We could definitely do that if you want. I can,
Like I'm all about the truth, right? Finding the truth, knowing the truth, and making sure it's the truth.
yeah, and getting people to back up, the story, so it's not just
Yeah,
one
absolutely,
crazy
right?
person, one person that could be
I'll
perceived as.
share I'll share anything with the audience. However, I want to know it's the truth.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
that's why I wasn't sure what your intentions were with this.
yeah,
That's why I was hesitant to jump on with you,
I
because
understand.
I didn't want something I said to get twisted or be
Not
called,
at all.
called a liar or something like that. Because I'm not doing this for fame. I don't, you know what I mean? It's something
Yeah,
crazy that happened that if it happens to other people, which I've read about other people's stories, and some of them are just mind blowing. Some of them are
yeah,
way, way more insane than mine are. And I don't know if they're true or not. They could be looking for
yeah,
attention. I'm
yeah,
not looking for attention. I don't, what I'm
yeah.
working on is my speaking career and my poster business. And those are the two things that I really care about, is
Right,
helping others through my speaking engagements, and then my
right,
posters, which I helped me get out of a hard time putting artwork with poster quotes on the wall to uplift, inspire, people to improve their environment. Because
right.
studies show that with blank walls in office buildings, depression rises by 80%, which is
Oh,
crazy. And
that's good.
with artwork over 2 weeks, there was an independent study putting artwork in office buildings, and there was a 33% increase in productivity in just 2 weeks of putting art on a
Just
wall.
put posters of your mentor everywhere. You're good.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I've got a couple different things going on in the works, and then somebody gave me some amazing advice on Clubhouse, and that is such a valuable resource. So anybody who's
It
not
is. Yeah,
there, they need to get on there, because if you're trying to better your business, better your speaking, better
yeah.
whatever it is you're into, connect people like yourself, talking about this awesome stuff.
Thank you.
Um, it's definitely a resource to reach people that you would not normally reach.
Absolutely.
I never thought in a million years that I'd have this
We would
conversation.
have never met if it weren't for Clubhouse, right?
Exactly. I never would have met you. I never would have sat down to do this interview.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's cool how that happened.
So okay, so continue telling me about what happened. You saw the gray, the green, whatever it was, and then what? Your brother runs off, but then what happens?
So, so he runs off. I watched the video. I'm like, oh shit. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh crap. You can edit that out. I said,
Yeah,
oh crap. And so I run downstairs, and my mom, it was at my mother's house, and she's so anti-parent. Like I told you, she doesn't want
yeah,
to hear any of this. She's like, she wants to be closed off from the reality of life.
right,
She wants to live in her own little bubble and not know what the unknown is, which I find amazing, because it's like, I want to know what the heck this reality is. I want to know where I'm going after. I want to know where I
right,
came from. Like, I'm
right,
always thinking these very deep questions. I'm a very deep
right,
philosopher thinker, and like, I always question the nature of my reality. And so the
right,
people that shield themselves from anything that's different, I never understood that, because it's like, why would you not want to know?
right.
So I went and showed her, and we were freaking out because we're both, full of adrenaline and stuff. And she's like, "Are you guys on drugs?" Blah blah blah, because we were going crazy. And I was like, "Oh, watch this, watch this." Then she watches it, freaks out, of course. And so then what I did, and I have this video as well, which I don't know if it's because of the light getting turned on from the neighbor, or if it's just that the craft or those entities left at that point. So what I did after that happened, we caught that entity on camera. I caught all the orbs on my
Yeah,
side. I took my phone and put it up on the windowsill for half an hour and let it record. And
right,
what happened 20 minutes in, like nothing happened, but 20
right.
minutes in, the whole house appeared again. So
Oh,
like it was gone. Yeah. So it was, I don't know if it was the light of something else, but everything came back to where it should have been.
right,
And I can probably maybe, I don't know, if send you the whole thing. You can do some editing or whatever you want to do with that if you want that one as well. But I found that to be kind of interesting, because it was like, everything randomly appeared. 1 second, nothing's there. The next second, everything's
it's
there.
all back. Yeah.
And so it was very interesting, to say the least. And that is the last, besides meditating recently, and I'll share this with you quick, because I think it's kind of funny and kind of it's interesting. So I've been meditating a lot recently, and I don't know if you ever heard of some other people and what they have shown their holy guardian angel to be perceived as. And I've seen from the past that some people perceive their HGA to be look like an alien, pretty much.
Yeah,
And
there's everybody sees something different. Yeah.
that is what I had in my mind was the
Okay.
face of an alien, and that was visualizing in my mind. And one night, it was listen to this. This is so weird. It's 1 a.m. and
Right.
I'm trying to improve myself, do great things in my life, become a speaker, become. What happened was I started meditating a lot more recently, and because I'm trying to get better, I guess you
Yeah.
could say. When you meditate, you find yourself more. I think when you heal the inner parts of yourself, everything on the outside kind of falls into place. At least that's how it's been for me recently.
Right.
So I was meditating, and I'm spiritual. I'm not
Right.
religious.
Right.
I like to take teachings from different religions that resonate with me
Yeah.
and put them into practice in my own life.
I understand. Yeah.
If that makes sense, because
Absolutely.
I don't believe you need a church to reach God. I think anybody can reach God on their own. That's just my personal belief. Some might hate me for saying that, but I
Nobody
don't.
hates you for saying that, but everyone has their own path. There's people who believe that they do need a path and
Yeah,
they do
yeah,
need a church, and that's their thing. They need
yeah,
it.
yeah. And I
And
respect it.
others do and others don't, and everyone has the right to their own path.
Exactly. And I think the problem with the world is that we're always, religion against religion or color against color or
Yeah.
straight against gay or whatever
Right.
it might be. And there's all these forces of I would call darkness that are trying to divide us through these stupid things when we could easily unite as a human species and
Yeah. I keep saying we're too primitive for God to give us the gifts we need to ascend because we're too primitive,
I think the average
you know?
well the problem in my opinion is that if you don't program your mind, it's programmed for you, and it's programmed by the media, your teachers, your parents, etc., who put the limiting beliefs on what you are and are not capable of achieving in your life.
Right.
Um, I think the negativity in the media and everywhere around us plays a huge role because when you let those negative messages into your brain on a regular basis, you become a negative person regardless. I used to be so negative. I used to say, I hate my life every day. I want to die every day. I used to
Yeah.
say that. Now I say, I love life every day. I
Yeah.
want to live even more every day. I'm
Yeah.
the complete opposite of where I was. So I wanted to piggyback off of what I was saying. So this is what happened very recently, and I'm going to kind of end on that because I gave you all
Yeah.
the
No
wording
worries.
pretty much.
Don't feel like you're giving it to me. Feel like you're sharing it with me.
Yeah, sorry, I was sharing those experiences with
And
you.
the reason I'm saying that is because it's a dialogue. Like you're me, I'm you, we're one, right? And it's about us growing together. It's about us being a conduit or a tool to help others recognize what's going on. Maybe they're having experiences. Maybe they need someone to tell their story so they can be more open to tell what's happening to them, right? All these things.
Yes,
So all we are is trying to help others. That's all my goal is here.
that's what my ultimate goal is. I mean, I had a goal this year. I just turned 30 a couple days ago, and my goal is to serve 1 million people by the time I hit 40 via my business, speaking, whatever it may be. My goal is to serve 1 million people. And if I'm fortunate enough in my lifetime, depending on how long I make it, my goal is to serve 1 billion people. I know it sounds crazy, but I got a quote from Steve Jobs up here that says the ones who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. And I've been looking at that for 5 years and it's been burning into my subconscious
Good
mind.
for you. And well, Steve Jobs, we all know who he is. So
Oh, yes, everybody know on this, your audience definitely knows. So what I was going to end on was the fact that this happened not even a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, tops. So I've been trying to become better at everything I do. And in order to become better, you have to face trials and tribulations or adversity to overcome it, to
Right.
mold you into the person you want to become. And
Right.
so this is 1 a.m. in the morning, mind you, right? Would you ever expect to get a business message at 1 a.m. in the morning? I'm just curious. Would you, from somebody on your own standard time, like your own time zone? Would you
Um,
expect it to
I
happen?
don't know. I'm a night owl, and my friends are night owls, so it's very possible.
Well, this is like a daytime business, and
Okay.
so I don't look at this as a like coincidence anymore, more of like synchronicity as or signs. So and this is why it's so weird that this happened at the same time period where I was been meditating and seeing that vision in my head. So I was laying down 1 a.m. and I said, God, please help me become great at everything I do. As soon as I said that, ding, I got a text message. It said, hey, the meeting has been canceled, and it was for 3 clients that I was going to be getting for my business, and because they all work in the same building, and they all wanted the same service provider, and they were like, your prices are too high, yada yada
Right.
yada, things are canceled. And so the normal, like, and it's funny because spoke to someone in my family about it. My grandmother, I was risen by poverty mindset,
Yeah.
the small minded thinking. And so I told her the story, and before I could continue, she said, "Oh, so are you going to try something new then? That's too bad," all negative. And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, Grandma." I said, "No." I was like, I asked for greatness or to become great, and God delivered by sending me a challenge. And
Right.
I took that as a challenge, and I made a proposal video because I could not get in there in person. And then I followed up with an email after because I was very passionate when I spoke because I believe in myself. And when
Yeah.
you believe in yourself and you know your value, you deserve to get paid what you're worth, especially when you're bringing 10 times the value to the client. And
Right.
that's what I was doing. And there are a lot of 60, 70-year-old people that don't understand the power of marketing, especially digital marketing, because they're stuck in the Stone Age. Hopefully they don't see this, but they probably won't because they probably don't use internet. But
Right.
anyways, um, so I found that is like a sign instantly because that's never happened to me before. I've
Right.
never said ask for something and then ding.
Yeah.
As soon as I finished saying the words, that text message hit, and
Yeah.
I looked at that as a challenge. And then I made the video. I came off a little too strong because I was very passionate and fired
Yeah.
up. But I also followed up and apologized because I noticed I came off too strong once my emotions simmered down. And that might turn out to be a contract in the future because the person that my point of contact was pushing for me to get the gig, and she knows that I'm worth the money.
Right.
We'll see how that plays out, but I found that as a challenge, because I asked for greatness.
You're sharing this story to basically tell the audience how pay attention, basically, be aware of what's
Yeah,
happening around you. And what you think might be a negative thing might be just the most amazing thing that could ever happen to you. And so just keep paying attention.
or a test to mold you into the person you want to become, because that's how I looked at it. I was like, how do you don't get great at something unless you continuously progress and
Grow.
try and better your communication skills
Yeah.
and what. And that was something I had to do in the
Yeah.
business realm. And so I looked at it as, hey, losing 3 clients in one day, not losing, but losing the opportunity to get 3 clients, which I had a meeting planned for. They canceled and wouldn't even let me give me my proposal,
Right.
even though we were all set up and I was doing work for one of the clients for 3 months prior. And so they
Right.
know my work is quality.
Right.
So I just wanted to share the fact of if you ask God for greatness, you will be tested.
Right. Of
That's
course
what
you will.
happened. That's what happened to me, anyways. I
Of
noticed
course.
that right away.
Well, thanks for sharing that story. Thank you for sharing all your experiences and giving insights along the way. Um, I love that you shared your meditative strategy and your meditative tool that you use. Do you still consistently use that particular meditation tool, or what is your meditation tool?
I mean, my biggest thing is trying to get as still as possible, focus on my breathing, and then trying to clear my mind. And if my mind takes me in a specific direction, depending on what the direction is, I might follow it. But if it's random thoughts, I try to recenter myself back to thinking I'm focusing on my breath. And then once I reached that stage, that deep theta stage, that's when I noticed I start connecting more with
Right.
higher levels of consciousness, I guess you could call it. Um, and I'm not a pro at this, so I'm not going to say I'm a yogi or a
No, no,
master.
that's okay. That's okay.
I'm just a regular guy who's doing um, certain things to enhance my quality of life. And I noticed that with meditation, depression drops, anxiety drops, and also something that many people, this is actually good, I'm mentioning this, your loneliness drops as well, the sense of feeling alone.
Really important. Yeah.
And especially with the pandemic going on, many people aren't comfortable with their in their own skin and being alone. They must be around other people, like to validate their own
Yeah.
existence, like you would say. And I've noticed a lot of people are really suffering, and drug use has become on the rise. Domestic violence, all that.
Suicide has become on the rise.
Suicide rose by 25%, and
Yeah.
young adults it rose by 11.8%. In
Yeah.
all ages, drug abuse rose 19% in the beginning of the pandemic. It was currently 38% in 2017. So that means as of
Yeah.
right, we're looking around 45%, if the numbers are correct. 45% of people are addicted to something, which is a lot. It's a lot
That's
of
a
people.
that's a
Yes,
lot.
people need help. People need to realize there are resources out there to help them. There are people that want to help them. So, if you're going through a tough time, realize you're not alone and that there are other people that have gone through what you're going through and maybe made worse. And I don't like to compare one person's suffering to another because it's all different inside your mind. Everybody
Right.
has, yeah.
The what I wanted to say to really close was like where to now? Like what do you do now? And is do you want to meet people, or do you want our audience to reach out to you for something you do or something you share?
So it's funny you asked that, and like people say, the Lord works in mysterious ways. So before COVID hit, I planned on backpacking through South America and going through all the ancient sites in Mexico and Peru, seeing
Nice.
Machu Picchu, the Nazca lines, all that, because
You'll,
I'm passionate about things like that. I like that type of stuff. I want
yeah,
to go to
you'll have
India.
to stay in touch with us and keep us informed on what you're doing and send videos and
Oh, if
pictures.
I can get down there, I definitely will. I'm hoping these new businesses will take off. And that's so what happened is the COVID hit, nobody wanted to spend money. My marketing business kind of tanked in that time period because everybody was scared. Things are starting to
Yeah.
finally change, which is good. People
Yeah.
are people are realizing, hey, it's not changing anytime soon. Our
Yeah.
customers are online and we need to reach them online because that's
Yeah.
the way to reach them. So things have been starting to pick up, but my main focus is two things: my speaking, because I found immense pleasure in helping others with my voice and sharing my own stories and challenges and the methods I've used to overcome the adversities that I faced. So it's almost selfish of me to do this because it makes me feel so good to help others. And I think like all the crap I went through brought me to this place where I entered Les Brown's speaking trainers program. And the reason I entered it is very funny. I wasn't going to do it at first. I went back to college for biotechnology because of the pandemic. I joined a student activist group, and their goal to raise money for hunger and homelessness was $500 for the semester. I said, "Can you repeat that, please?" Because I was like, "What are we going to give them all, a quarter?" And so that got me fired up inside. And the voice
Yeah.
kept telling me, if not you, Kevin, then who? And like that voice just kept coming. And I saw this thing online with Les Brown doing a new training program in the
Right.
beginning of January. And so it took me 3 days before I got the confidence to finally make a decision and sign up for it. And so I started the second week. Now that my life in the past going on 4 months now has grown far superior to the last 3 years,
Right.
just by the networking, the opportunity, the ability in my way to communicate with others. I've
Right.
had the dean of admissions call me up and we had a wonderful call. She wanted to con me into working for her. because
Right.
she likes the way I talk. So it's just things have been taken off. So for me, speaking to people that are in, either rehab, children, businesses as well for motivation and as well as for addiction, because there are a
Right.
lot of people that are in corporations that are
Yeah.
addicts that hide it very well. I used to, so I know. So I've been through all these adversities and I've overcame them. So I have a lot of knowledge to give people in terms of how to get your mind clear, renew your mind, and move forward with your life.
Rejuvenate and move forward.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well,
So
thank
that's
you.
yeah. So that's what I'm working on is the speaking engagements in my new business called Poster Quoter. Posterquoter.com will be open soon. It is where we take powerful quotes, bring them to life with original artwork from artists globally. So I have somebody in Indonesia and Sri Lanka and America,
Nice.
different places putting artwork together,
Nice.
and it's awesome. It really is. I cannot wait to get it up and running. And it's taken a little longer because I like to do the quality control myself. I buy every piece, I inspect it, I make sure it looks good before I send it out because I don't want to send somebody something that's
Yeah.
subpar. You know what I mean?
So
But
what we'd like to put your products and services on our website too then for you. And
that'd
we'll
be
get
that'd
that.
be that'd be amazing. I'm actually gonna set up a. I've been because Clubhouse has been such an amazing tool, and
Mhm.
one of the entrepreneurs on there gave me some amazing advice, and this wasn't part of it. But what I wanted to do anyways was set up some type of affiliate program, so people like yourself or anybody else
Yeah.
who drive traffic and make
Yeah.
the skill, I can
Absolutely.
help them out with commission
Yeah.
for doing that. So that's something I plan on doing. And the categories, just to let you know real quick, are entrepreneurship, motivation, philosophy, psychology,
Nice.
education, and then somebody else reached out to me and they want me to do a spirituality section. So
Yeah.
that was
Paranormal.
or paranormal. So those are so I have to start somewhere, before I expand.
Maybe
So
you
those
should
are
do spirituality and paranormal because they kind of,
kind of mixed, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that would actually probably be a good idea. Just like I do, because I'm doing philosophy and psychology in one section. So it probably be a nice idea to do spirituality and paranormal in one section as well,
Yeah.
and get good quotes that I can bring to life. And if you have any ideas or your audience has any ideas, feel
Absolutely.
free to send me a message of like a good quote, a powerful quote,
Yeah.
and an idea for an art concept as well. If you want to, you don't have to send an art concept idea. I usually collaborate with the artist and try to come up with a design
Well,
that
it's a fascinating idea, and I'll help support you as much as I can. It's all about supporting each other, right?
definitely. If there's anything I can do for you, just let me know, and I'll be happy to do so.
Well, my dear, thank you so much for joining us.
You're very welcome,
Thank
my
you,
dear.
thank you, thank you. I really am honored to have talked to you and have met you. And I'd really like to keep this communication open and please stay in touch.
Definitely, and like I said, I will send you those videos.